A good Erev Shabbos. We're standing today, Erev Shabbos, Pashas Mattos-Masei, Shabbos Chazak. Shabbos, when we finish reading the book of Bamidbar, and we announce afterwards, Chazak, Chazak, V'nis Chazek 3 times, let us be strengthened. It's also Rish Chodesh Menachem Av, the beginning of the Hebrew month of Menachem Av, which is the anniversary of the passing of Aaron HaKohen. Aaron, the brother of Moshe, was known as someone who pursued peace. He brought people closer to Torah by being nice to them, by greeting even people that were on a very lowly level, and trying to bring peace between husband and wife, between two friends that got into a fight. And in general, we know that the month of Menachem Av, which we're starting now, is called Menachem Av. Menachem Av means to comfort the father, which means there's two interpretations in this. Simply, we know that the original name of the month was Av, but after the calamities which took place in this month, so they added the word Menachem. Menachem means to comfort us for the negative things which took place in the month. So simply it means that Hashem, Menachem Av, that Hashem, our Father, will comfort us for the negative things that will happen. What will be the comfort? It says that when Mashiach will come, we will say, Oitcha Hashem ki onaftabi. We will thank Hashem for the things that happened through exile, because at that point we will see how they were really good in hindsight. We will be able to see that at this point it's impossible to appreciate that. But in hindsight, we'll be able to see that. So this will be the full-fledged comfort for the calamities of exile. Additionally, Menachem Av also means that Hashem Himself, the Father, needs to be comforted. Hashem Himself suffers in exile. Hashem is in exile together with every single Jew. He feels our pain. And as long as we're in exile, He also is in exile. And when Mashiach will come, He will be comforted. And the theme of the month of Menachem Av is highlighted by the famous Medrash, which says that we know that the Mazel, the zodiac sign of the month of Av, is Aryeh, is a lion. And then we know that Nebuchadnezzar, who destroyed the temple, is compared to a lion, and the temple itself is compared to a lion. But the Medrash says that the lion, which refers to the Nebuchadnezzar, should come in the month, which is zodiac sign as a lion, which is Av, and destroy the temple, which is called Ariel, a lion, the lion of Hashem, Al-Manas. This was done on the condition that in this same very month, Hashem, who is a lion, will come and rebuild the Beis HaMikdash. Which means the Medrash is underlying that when Mashiach will come, we will see that it's not two separate things. There are a bunch of suffering. And after the suffering, there was the light at the end of the tunnel. Rather, we will see how all the calamities were just there in order, Al-Manas, for the reason of being able to build an even bigger and better temple, to be able to usher in the world to a completely new stage and phase in its existence. And we'll see how just like when you destroy a building, you demolish a building in order to rebuild a better building. So if you just see the act of demolishing, it might look quite disgusting, it might be unimpressive. However, when you see later the beautiful building that was built as a result, you'll realize that the act of demolishing was solely for the purpose of rebuilding. Similarly, the comfort, the Menachem Av, the comfort that we have for the exile is that knowing that eventually we'll one day realize that this was all done in order that we should be able to see the true and complete redemption in the most completest way possible. This is also connected with the themes of the Parshas. It's a double header this week. Is Mattos-Masei. Masei means journeys. And journeys means when a person is in journey, that itself is a form of exile. A person is not home, he's traveling from place to place. And we know that particularly refers to the journeys of the Jewish people in the desert, where they were traveling to the land of Israel. And many journeys were accompanied with different stories and situations, some for better, some for worse. But every single journey was getting them one step closer to their final goal, which is entering the land of Eretz Yisrael, entering the land of Israel. So Masei represents the exile, represents the journeys of the soul. The soul descends into a body, and throughout a person's life, there's many ups and downs, there's different journeys. But we have to keep in mind that all the journeys are there to reach the final goal. And in retrospect, when the journeys are over, we could understand what the purpose of every single journey was. That this, while we're still traveling, we don't see the full picture. So each experience, each adventure that we encounter in every journey seems to be a distinct act on its own, a distinct phase in our life. But when Mashiach will come, when the journeys will be over and a person fulfills his mission in this world, he'll then realize of every single journey whether it was up or down, was eventually all to bring out his inner resolve, bring out his, fulfill the mission for which his soul was sent on into this world. This is also connected. The first parsha this week is called Mattos. Mattos means a stick. And the stick, and we know in Hebrew there's different words for a stick, but the word mata represents a stick that was a branch of a tree that was cut off from a tree until it hardened, is called a mata. When it's cut off from the tree, it loses its connection to its source, it loses any sap, it loses, so to say, its vitality, its energy, and you might say it would shrivel up, it would turn into nothing, right? You cut off a leaf from the tree, and it dries up and it shrivels, there's nothing left from it. But that's not the same. The same is not true with a stick. When its stick is cut off from the tree, on the contrary, the stick becomes hardened, it becomes even stronger than it was before, because it brings out its essential qualities, essential hardness, its essential strength is brought out. When it's still connected to its tree, you don't see so much its own quality, but when it's detached from the tree, its inner strength is able to shine. Similarly, the soul is never detached. It might appear that we are detached, but we have our inner resolve, our inner connection to Hashem is always there. And when things get tough, when we have to bring out our inner resolve, when the soul has to journey into a body and it has to deal with circumstances which is completely beyond what it imagined, beyond its comfort zone, that brings out the mata, that brings out the strength, the inner eternal strength of a Jewish soul, and that transforms, that has the ability to transform the exile into redemption. So we know that Mashiach, we know that a mata, stick, is connected with rulership, with kingdom. Mata Yuzcha Yishlach Hashem. A stick is a metaphor. A scepter, a king would have a scepter. There's different types of sticks. There's a makal choivlim. There's a stick which is meant to, hit, or which, and the theme of a makal choivlim is a stick which, in other words, is rebuke, is discipline. And then there's makal noyam, and then there's a stick which is referred to a sweet stick. It's, in other words, a form of leadership, a form of discipline, which is done in a sweet way. So exile is compared to a makal choivlim, where we're being beaten, so to say. But when Mashiach will come, Mashiach will introduce a different way of discipline. He will introduce a discipline in a pleasant way. We will then see the pleasantness, the open, revealed kindness of Hashem, and that will inspire us to do what we need to do. So when we are this week, we start the month of Av, we start off right away with Chazak, Chazak, even though we might think that, it's a time which, according to Shulchan Aruch, according to Jewish law, we have the restrictions, limitations, and how much joy we're allowed to experience. But these restrictions on joy do not diminish our strength. On the contrary, our strength becomes even stronger, and we go in the footsteps of Adonai, which showed love to every single person, the Makal Noyam, a staff which was done in a peaceful way, pleasant way, to show people the beauty of Torah, to bring them close to Mashiach, to bring them close to the Torah, to tell people that they should not despair, they should realize the world is heading towards the future redemption, and therefore we should be strengthened, we should not give up hope at the last few seconds of exile, and Hashem should help, that we should merit that without any further ado, we should see the menachim, we should see the comfort which is there all along. Like it says, our sages say that the day that the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, the 9th of Av, Mashiach was born, and he's called Menachim. But he was born, he was hidden away. The potential is there, the existence is there, we need it to be revealed. So when we bring out our inner resolve, this reveals in the world the power of Mashiach as well. We'll use his strength in a peaceful way, in a pleasant way, but nevertheless, in the strongest, most effective way possible, he will transform the whole world. He'll have ultimate strength, the strength of Hashem, which will rest upon him, and he'll transform the world and lead us in our final phase of our journey, bring us once again to the land of Israel, rebuild the temple, and we will then see in an open way how Oidcha Hashem can, after we will be able to thank Hashem for all the good, not only that we'll have in the future, but we'll see retroactively in the past. When the journey is all over, we will see what every single adventure was all about. And we should merit to have this all take place. Take it from Yad Mamish speedily in our days. Amen.